Hi guys, White Warlock here. This is gonna be a new video for set 6, and as you see, it's also my first face reveal video, I guess, because for this I am discussing the red-blue item list you can start with for set 6, and as I don't have the cards yet, I just decided to go through Dreamborn, and uh, only Dreamborn is a bit boring, so I guess I'll show my face. Also, you can expect a update video about the channel itself, either the same day or a few days after, because I'm gonna change the content a little bit. I'm probably gonna include different games or one different game besides Lorcana on the channel, but you'll hear from me later about that. But for now, we'll stick to Red Blue for Lorcana set 6, as you right see, and yeah, I'm gonna discuss basically 6 lists. You can start with, you can check out what you like if you want to test them, and what kind of went um, in the thought process. These lists, especially the first few, weren't really tested, um, but the others I played a little bit with. I don't think it's a great deck in the meta or something because the meta is quite fast. But if the meta changes a little bit, then it might find its footing. It also kind of depends on how good standard red blue is, because if standard red blue is really good again, just like in set 5, then I would just recommend playing standard red blue. For now, the first list I started with was based around Oswald and still playing the Queen. So this is like if you really liked set 4 red blue, my list at least, then I would recommend something like this to start with. So this is around the Queen, but also with 3 Oswalds, and we utilize the new Raya, which is um, yeah, which allows you whenever you ink, you can ink twice, right? If you have the fishbone quill, or more if you have multiple fishbone quills, or if you have like Seal the Azurite Sea, you can ready one of your characters, and if that's the queen, then you can just activate your queen again, and you can activate her multiple times. You can also use the Raya triggers um, to attack. For example, with Maui Half Shark, and if you attack multiple challenges, like you get more multiple actions back. Obviously, this list doesn't play that many actions, but if you have a Visions of the Future or still the Azure Sea in your banish pile, and you have the Maui Hull Shark and the Raya, that's a really nice combo, right? Because you also gain some lore with those actions. Obviously, the deck still plays around Hiram and Tamatoa, and still has this one still has the Siku package and the 3 ice blocks, and the 3 Maurice Workshop. Now that we play Oswald, I'm gonna try out 3 Lucky Dimes in most of my lists, except for the last one, and this allows you to be a little bit less conservative with your lucky dimes. You remember when I talked in set 4 about whenever you got a lucky dime, you could never ink it, or you always had to choose it with the queen, or because you just can't take the risk that the other one is got by a one jump ahead, or if you played that, or it's on the bottom of your deck anyways, and you just can't find the win condition. With 3, that's a little bit less so, and whenever you get the first lucky dime with the Oswald, unless you're playing against a deck you know plays Hideaway or something, you can just ink the rest of your lucky dimes with Fishbone Quills or Tipo if you play them. So this is the first idea. The second idea is basically no Maui Sharks, no Queen, no Warrior, no Sisus, the 4 Oswalds, and Gramatala. So this is a little bit more consistency. You see, you play 4 Be Prepared in this one, just to keep at least 4 board wipes, the 4 brawls instead of 3 brawls and Sisus, right? Like in this one. And you play 18 Inkables in this, also 18. So the Inkables are the same, but you also play Medusa and Maleficent. So it's a little bit more mid-range deck, and it has a little bit more late game remove. So this would be a more late game focused meta. You play instead of the ice blocks, you play an additional Vitality Sphere. Obviously, Vitality Sphere is a little bit worse when you don't have Maui Shark, so you could maybe play Maui Shark in this. You can always cut the dragons for Maui Shark or the Medusas for Maui Shark, depending on your meta. And then Greystone, we played Greystone Dragon still. Um, then for versions, the third deck is also, again, no Queen Araya. We do play Sisu now, and this is also with Tipo and with Aurora. So Aurora plus the 4 Oswalds. It's kind of a fun combo where you can hope to find, like, stack your deck, hope to find items on the top of your deck, and then yeah, trigger Oswald and get those items for free. That's the idea. Um, but I found Aurora to be a little bit lacking, but this is, yeah, a little bit less consistency, more combo and more ramp with Tipo. But you'll get rid of your hand quite quickly, so be worried about that if you're playing against discard. Otherwise, it's quite similar to the first deck, but then without Queen. So the fourth version, again, no Queen Rayas. This one then doesn't play the Sisu package, but does play Shark, no Auroras, and again Tipo, and the 4 B Preps and the 4 Brawls. In the later versions, I tested a little bit. I switched from GSD, so Racing Dragon, to Crossbow and Maui Fishhook, especially when playing like 4 Mauis, right? Maybe the Fishhook is a little bit better, but I'm not completely sure about that one yet. But you can always try it out yourself. This is also quite similar to version 2, right? And yeah, it depends a little bit about what you like. Again, this one plays Medusa. To have more removal instead of the Sisu package. Then for the fifth one, this one I tried out. I tried out only 2 dimes, so you have to be a little bit more careful about your dimes inking them right. But it was like a little bit less inkables to still keep the Sisu package and play the 4 Oswald. So that was a difference between like the first and this, and like the first version only played 3 Oswald, so that's 1 linkable less. And now you have to try to keep the inkables at 18 or lower if you can. And that's why I went with this. I went with 4 typos because when I started playing, I would find that ramping a lot early is very good, because then you can start playing your Sisu and your Be Prepared early against the aggressive decks, and there are a lot more aggressive decks in the set at the moment in the meta. And this was my version I made today, thinking a little bit about how you could play around it without the Sisu package. This is also 18 uninkables, and this is with 4 Maurice Workshop. So if you like the combo and you think you need a little bit more drama, a little bit more consistency, you can play the Workshop. What you can also do is you can cut 1 ice block and go for 4 Vitality Sphere. I forgot to do that, but you can also do that. So you go to 17 uninkables, and you still have 3 B-Breads and 2 big Sisus. So I only cut the small Sisus, but I kept the big Sisus for like an additional board. What you could do, if you say that's not really necessary, you could go down to 4 beef wraps and 1 Medusa, for example, to keep the same uninkable count, or you could cut the Sisus for a beef wrap and another inkable, or for, like, for example, another item, or you could see maybe you can play an extra action, or play an extra half shark if half shark turns out to be pretty good in testing. All right, so now I'll talk a little bit about cards I did not include, but you could still try out. One of which is a little bit of a meme card. It's Prince John Gold Lover. This is not that good, I think, but I have not tested it at all, so maybe you can find some use for it in your versions. Obviously, it is a lot better if your meta contains a lot of item removal. I doubt that the meta will contain any item removal at all, basically. But if your meta hates you, your local meta hates you, if you play lots of items and your local opponents know that and include a little bit more item removal in their decks, then maybe Prince John becomes a little bit better. Uh, as I said, I have not tested it at all, so maybe it has some use, but I don't think so. Then, because you play Maui Hall Shark, some actions you could play as a one-off as additional targets, one of which is develop your brain. Obviously, if you have a visions of the future and you can play it after attacking with Hall Shark, I would always do so. But maybe you can't, maybe you need that ink and you can use the one ink remaining to play Develop Your Brain. Also, after Sail the Azurite Sea, you can after turn 2 you have one open ink on turn 2 and you can play Develop Your Brain, so it's also kind of good for that. Then you have Hideaway. If your meta has a lot of red blue, or if the meta turns out to be a little bit slower with red blue and blue steel decks with Lucky Dime, then Hideaway is obviously pretty good. Or if your meta is full of locations and you just really need it, then you can also try out Hideaway. And then finally, we have Let It Go and A Pirate's Life for the songs. So Let It Go is removal, especially if the meta is a lot slower, then Maui Shark plus Let It Go can become really annoying for your opponents. So if you have space for it and your meta is slow, then maybe try out one or two Let It Goes. You could cut out some brawls. If the meta is slow, you should not play small Sisu, and then you have a little bit more room for Let It Go maybe. And then A Pirate's Life. This is something I've seen stock or like normal red blue try out with Maui Half Shark. I think it could be pretty good, but not in this version. But maybe you could try. I think in our deck it might be a little bit too slow against your opponent, but it is some like constant uh, like a lore recursion, right? And you might want that. But this deck is obviously a little bit less of a control deck than stock red blue, so in that version it might be a little bit better. And then lastly, I have 7 items you could also try out, one of which is the gold coin. So this is basically the shield, but one use only. You could also try out the shield, obviously, but the gold coin is new, so I highlighted it here. It's another one-drop item. If you don't play ice blocks, for example, you can, if you think ice blocks are not that great, if the Sisu package is not working out for you, you could play more other inkables one-drop items, and one of which is the gold coin you could try. Maybe if you play the queen still, then you could also try it out. Um, then we have the potion of might. The good thing about potion of might is that you don't need to exert it to use it. So unlike the gold coin, you don't need to exert the potion of might. So after you get it with Oswald or a queen, you can still use it. But I think Ruby Chromacon itself is better. Um, because it continuously allows your characters that normally wouldn't challenge or challenge for less to challenge for more. For example, your Hyrims or especially your T-pose and maybe even your Oswald, but I would not recommend challenging with your Oswald. If you don't play a half shark deck if you don't play half shark in your deck, then you could definitely switch out some of your Vitalospheres for Ruby Chromacons, especially if red purple is less of a thing in your meta, or if locations are less of a thing in your meta. Then Medallion is something I included in this list because it saw some play in the early set 4 items list. After that, I didn't really see it. I don't think the card is that great, but you could always try it and see for yourself. Then Battle's Magnifying Glass. I think this card is too slow, but it does give your deck more consistency if you can actually find time to pay the 2 ink to activate this card. Um, yeah, I think it is too slow, as I said, but it might give you some more reach. And if reach is all that you need, especially in the slow meta, then the item might be pretty good, and you can replace it for the fish hooks or the fang crossbows in the other lists that I've shown you. Then the plank. So I've noticed that a lot more characters in this set, and every time a new good character comes out, like some most of the time they're just heroes. So banished chosen hero character becomes a lot more relevant every set. And yeah, the plank allows you to activate it without exerting it. So that's pretty nice. So you can get it for free for Oswald and then pay 2 ink and banish something. But I think there's the hero. There are not that many heroes still in some decks, so I don't think it's good enough, but it's close. It's very close. And then finally, obviously, Greystone Dragon, a great card against slower decks and slower metas and discard. So if your meta has a lot of discard and slower decks, then Greystone Dragon is obviously pretty good. And you could try it, like exchange it with one of the other items like Fang Crossbow or Maui's Fishhook. Again, you could play also use this with Oswald really well. Oswald is a lightning rod. Your opponent really wants to kill Oswald as fast as possible, and Greystone Dragon kind of synergizes with this. Let's say you have Oswald and it dies, but you had this on the field. Maybe you got it from Oswald. Then you play another Oswald and you ink Oswald with the Greystone Dragon. That's great. You get an extra trigger, and otherwise, if you have Oswalds lying around and you have characters in your banish pile, perhaps because you play against discard and you have to discard your Maui Shark, for example, then you can use a Grayson Dragon for that effect as well. All right, so that was the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Um, as I said, I will upload a channel update maybe today or tomorrow, talking about what I'm gonna do with this channel, because I'm probably gonna make content on a different game as well, not a different card game. I will stick to Volcana as my only card game for now. Um, but I don't have that much time to test at the moment, so yeah, I might not upload that much, and especially about like the red blue items list. I love it a lot, but I just don't think there's a place for the meta for it at the moment, which is quite unfortunate. But if you guys have any opportunity to test the deck yourself, please let me know what you think of it and what you would recommend me testing next, and maybe I'll include it for the next videos. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.